I have to say, we've seen a lot of cool, like, mobile game mechanics translated into an anime scene. And the connecting that the Magical Girls do is probably one of the cooler ones that I honestly think a mobile game to anime adaptation has done, because it perfectly works well given the context and the situation surrounding these characters, right? The idea of joining your powers together just naturally makes sense. And while, yes, maybe at times in the first season of Magia Record, you could definitely tell it was like a mobile mechanic. Season 2 has definitely done a pretty natural transition, and I would personally argue the connect we had in this episode is probably my top, if not top 2 connects, and I think joining of abilities that we've seen, because it makes total sense, the idea of someone with a crossbow, someone with a giant-ass spear, connecting that together to basically ram down a door. There's just so many cool ideas, and it's a shame that we probably won't be able to get as many as I want to see, but thinking of the OG cast with the new ones and the way they can mix and match, there's a lot of cool possibilities that could occur, and I'm starting to understand why probably the game was pretty damn popular. I believe they took it out from North American servers or something like that, some weird trickery went on. But like, I'm just thinking of the numerous things that you could do with these characters' powers together, and it's pretty damn cool. Now, walking into this episode, because I watched it on Mondays, which is obviously the day I released the review, and I was hearing some pretty negative things about the episode, so I was walking in expecting a pretty chaotic episode and not in the fun chaotic sense. And then I finished the episode, and I was like, well, I mean, I don't know what was totally wrong with it. I mean, the production definitely was dipped quite a bit, the animation and art design wasn't as consistent. So I went in and checked Reddit, which was probably a mistake, and there was a lot of negativity to the point of, like, people calling it trash. And I was like, yeah, the production definitely wasn't as good, but to call it trash, I mean, the story and characters and things like that, and, like, even the background details with the arts and crafts world, I mean, that was still pretty consistent. Yeah, sure, you had some derpy faces and inconsistent character models, but trash? I'm honestly starting to wonder if maybe some of the goodwill buzz that I was seeing online surrounding Magia Records Season 2 was specifically just because people liked the fight scenes and not the characters. Because if anyone's been following these reviews in Season 1, the thing that I loved about Season 1 was the slow burn character drama. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe Season 2 got buzzed just because of really good animation on the fight scenes, which would be a shame because I think it both has good action and great characters, especially with the mixing and matching, but just wanted to throw that out there because I'm sure I'm going to get people probably saying like, man, trash episode, or I hated the animation. If we compare the first 5 episodes of Magia Records Season 2 to this, probably the worst animated, but given the fact that we have 2 episodes left of Season 2, and the fact that it's been so animation heavy, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with essentially a setup episode having as much action as it did to lead up to the final battle, so to speak. And there's definitely some cool moments. I love the callback to Homura because I always was like, that was my favorite power and my favorite character in the original show. So the idea of like when they're driving, right, which I thought was kind of hilarious that they were driving a truck just in the middle of like a witch kind of minefield death trap, and then they all were going flying, she stopped time and saved them, which I thought was a really cool way. Like, it would be nice if within, like, the last couple of episodes of Season 2, the last handful of episodes of the final season, if maybe we get to see more of the OG characters' powers, either with connects with the new characters or just cool scenes, because even though we've had so many times of Homura using her time-stopping abilities to do some crazy shit, it still is always amazing. And I have to say, that moment with her, because even though I don't think at this point in time it's her true breaking point, it's kind of like in the middle of her still trying to be carefree and positive, the idea that we have like MADOKA who's pretty much saying like, you know, if this is what being a magical girl is, I'm glad to try it out, I'm sure we can do it. Basically just saying, yeah, this is a death trap situation, but we can do it if we believe in each other. And then she's getting flashbacks to all the times that she's heard that exact same phrase, and MADOKA always ends up dead. And I was like, that was a really nice touch. That was probably my personal favorite story point in the episode, because the OGs, we all know that. We all know the pain. We all know what led her to become so cold and ruthless at the beginning of what was the last loop and attempt of Homura, before things were going to seemingly work out, and then we got into rebellion and things like that, right? Yeah, this episode, I think, the worst for me personally on a production level was just like, when you looked at one scene of the characters, you're like, okay, it's not as detailed as maybe past episodes, but then when you got to the next scene of those characters, there was an inconsistency with their character models, but nothing to the point that I was like, oh man, this is horrible. It's honestly kind of goes back to the original TV broadcast of the first anime. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, now I haven't rewatched it on Crunchyroll in quite a few years. The last time I rewatched it, I rewatched with the Blu-ray version because there was massive touch-ups. I mean, this is pretty much hand in hand to like the first couple of episodes of the original Madoka anime, where yeah, it was inconsistent, and I mean, there was a lot of lack of detail in the backgrounds. So I think the thing that Magia Record has the edge for is even when you get those inconsistent character models, you get drop dead gorgeous backgrounds in arts and crafts monsters and things like that. And yeah, there's definitely going to be polish on episodes like these more so than usual than with the first 5 episodes of season 2, but I just don't understand the idea of calling it trash. Like, the story, the characters, the voice acting was especially good in this episode, I have to admit. And just, like, you had that Madoka charm. Like, the idea when Kyoko pops up and she's just in a mascot costume as you have kind of like this hell-forsaken landscape behind her. There's just a lot of charm, and seeing different characters on the antagonist side slowly realizing that, you know, the boss and the people that they've been following are actually kind of batshit insane and they're trying to leave, and honestly, shit's just not working out as you have ridiculously cool powers take place that immediately get blown away by some top bitches in charge, basically. I mean, I've always recognized that I'm the oddball out for something like Magia Record. I mean, I love season 1 when really, I continuously had people say, like, no, this is a trash season, and I definitely think Magia Record Season 1 has gained more momentum as basically the gap between seasons went on. But it's just weird, like, would I want to see this type of production for the last 2 episodes? Absolutely not. But I mean, the fact that they split the final season and Season 2, which really, it's a 13-episode season that just got split up because obviously it's a very production-heavy final season, right? The last 13 episodes of Magia Record were going to be a lot more action-packed, so they needed to split it up. And yeah, I mean, it's perfectly fine, I think, to point out the inconsistencies. For me personally, it wasn't even like the movement. I saw some people say the movement in the fights. I could keep up with that perfectly fine. It was just more of the inconsistency with the character models. Just the idea of like completely discrediting episode like this where you have Iroha really sticking to her guns and really pushing forward. She gave me some MADOKA flashbacks from the original anime. And the fact that the gangs are officially united, and I mean, we're gonna see some crazy shit take place, and if you have to suffer an episode like this to the following episode where Mommy's finally back in action, and we're gonna have some batshit insane action, I would definitely want that to be polished the most. I think I actually mentioned it last week's video, where I don't think there's really been too much to touch up until this point. Episodes like these, yeah, will definitely be worth rewatching with the Blu-ray version whenever we do get those. But I honestly just don't think it's trash or horrible. I mean, I've definitely seen way worse, and we all know how the anime industry is. I mean, I'm just counting my blessings we're not watching stick drawings right now, where, you know, scenes where there isn't even a mouth flap moving, right? There's still a lot of shit going on in the background. For me, that keeps it entertaining and completely chaotic. And like I said, I think it was probably my favorite connect, and with the gang officially united, it'd be really interesting to see Madoka and Iroha do a connect, because they have a pretty similar weapon and things, so that'd be pretty cool as well. But I guess we'll see where they take it, right? 2 episodes left to go, season 2, and then we have to wait till sometime in December for the last 4 or 5 episodes, so that'll be some fun stuff for sure. But let me know what you thought on this latest Magia Record episode. Were you like the internet? Did you completely hate it, or were you a little disappointed, or did you completely love it? Let me know down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.